Hello once again, hockey fans. So another draft has come and gone, and I thought I'd give my thoughts on a few things that happened that I deemed to be relevant. I won't go over all the picks and say, this guy who I think he's going to become and where he's going to go and when, no. I'm just going to say a few relevant things. But before I get into it, where were all the trades? There's so much rumblings about Pacioretty and, this guy and that guy. And where were the trades? I was waiting any moment for Bettman to come up there like, I have an announcement. There's been a trade. But he never came up there, him in his Nike shoes. So anyway, few of my thoughts. First thing, Zadina. Zadina's a prolific goal scorer. He can score from most anywhere. He's got the touch. A lot of players don't have a scorer's touch. He's got it. I was surprised to see him drop all the way down to sixth. Because throughout the year, everyone was projecting him to go third. In fact, earlier this year, there was talk, who's going to go second, Zadina or Svechnikov? Now, Svechnikov separated himself. So everyone would think, okay, Zadina's third now. All the way down to sixth. And you could see it when the Montreal Canadiens drafted Kotkaniemi. You could see the fans in the building. They were screaming, which, by the way, I think it's kind of stupid. A, it's disrespectful to the kid and to his family being screamed at. Hey, what did he do, the kid? He hasn't done anything. He got drafted. Let him enjoy his moment. And two, you don't know how good a player is going to be unless it's 20 years down the line. 10 years down the line, then we could judge this. Now, we can't judge this. That's why I'm not getting too up in arms about not taking Zadina. Okay? I'm cool with it. But let's go to another team. Let's talk about everyone. I talk about everyone on this channel. And who I want to talk about now is John Shaika and the Arizona Coyotes picking Barrett Hayton fifth. So what this tells me is that since Barrett Hayton was projected to go lower, i.e. 10th or 11th, Arizona couldn't find a dance partner to switch trades and go lower, get a promotion out of it. So what they did, they drafted him in the fifth overall. I don't think he's a fifth overall caliber player. He played on the Sioux Greyhounds. There's Don Cherry infamously talked about that showboating game where he did this thing here, on a 7-0 game. Beer leaguers don't celebrate that much when it's a 5-0 game. And here's the guy doing this, Barrett Hayton. What I thought was a red flag is when I saw he had 60 points in 63 games. When you're on the OHL being drafted, especially drafted this high, I expect you to be a point-per-game player. If not, that's a red flag. And when I say red flag, I'm not referring to those horrible Carolina jerseys. What the hell did I just witness? Those have to be some of the ugliest jerseys I've seen in a long time. And my team's jersey is a toilet bowl. So that's saying something. But that being said about Barrett Hayton, he could be a good defensive center. Points aren't everything. I hear a lot of rumblings that he might be like Patrice Bergeron, which would be a good pick. But like I said, we don't know till 10 years down the line. Okay? So we got Zadina. We got Barrett Hayton. Jesperi Kotkaniemi, drafted third by the Montreal Canadiens. And I made a video about this. But what I forgot to mention is that he's younger. I believe he's 17 years old, and he played in a league of men. So if you could not thrive, if you could survive in a league of heavier, more experienced, more hairy men, then that reflects well in the eyes of NHL scouts. And I think that's why the Canadiens drafted him. I want to talk about Brady Tkachuk. Brady Tkachuk, son of Keith Tkachuk, or as people call him now, Keith Tkachunk, because we've seen what he's been doing in his retirement, going to the buffets. Well, Brady Tkachuk was drafted 4th by the Ottawa Senators. Okay? First of all, if I were a player drafted by the Ottawa Senators, I wouldn't be too happy. Okay? Because let's face it, that team's a dumpster fire right now. They're sinking like the Titanic. You know? Sense, more like no sense. Get it? Well, Brady Tkachuk is going there. Now, the thing why I didn't want my team to select Brady Tkachuk is because he's almost a full year older than all of the other kids. If he were if he were born a day or two earlier, he would be in last year's draft and probably a higher pick. But now he's got almost a full year of extra seasoning, of growing into his frame. So he looks better in the eyes of scouts. When I think that in reality, they could have over-evaluated him a bit too much because he's going to be a good player. But does he have the skill level of Svechnikov, Dahlin, Quinn Hughes, that brute skill? No. He's a physical body. He hits. He was talking on the radio. He compared himself to Jamie Benn. He's not going to be Jamie Benn. Jamie Benn has better puck skills. Not that I'm shitting on the kid. The kid's great. He's hungry. He's going to battle hard, and he's going to be a villain in this league. And when I say villain, I mean that in the best way possible. But to be drafted 4th, when I would draft 4th, I would look for skill. Okay? I mean Zadina level skill, Svechnikov level skill. I would draft a player like Tkachuk around 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay? But we can still say he's going to play in the NHL next year because he's ready. He's physically ready. He's mentally ready. The kid's a gamer, just like his father. And just like his brother, as a matter of fact. And they say he's even more skilled than his brother, just saying. Now, so the San Jose Sharks draft Ryan Merkley. They actually moved up in the draft in order to draft him. And for those of you who don't know Ryan Merkley, he was a big story because Ryan Merkley is said to have top 4 skill in this draft easily. If you just look at his talent level, he's up there. So you might be asking, why was he drafted at 22? Well, first of all, he's a defenseman. And they say when the puck is not on his stick, or in other words, when he has to play, defense, they say it's atrocious. On top of that, it's exacerbated by the fact that he's had apparently some attitude issues off the ice that scared some teams away. They say, okay, you might have that good a skill. I'm not touching you with a 10-foot pole. I don't see why someone would own a 10-foot pole, but if they did, we're not touching Ryan Merkley with it. Okay? But not the San Jose Sharks. The Sharks, they saw Ryan Merkley. They said, this is our chance. They went and drafted Ryan Merkley. Another thing that stood out to me, the New York Rangers drafted Nils Lundkvist. Another Lundkvist. They might think, hey, we did good with this Lundkvist. Well, let's draft another Lundkvist. It's going to be a slam dunk. I don't know. One thing I am sad to see is that Joseph Veleno was taken that late. Joseph Veleno was given exceptional status going into the queue, permitting him to play hockey at 15 years old. Now, some say he hasn't lived up to that. Some say he's been disappointing, and I'm one of them. But he played for the Sea Dogs. Once he got traded to Drummondville, he picked up his pace. I think, and mark my words, I think that drafting Joseph Valeno may have been a steal. And it's the Detroit Red Wings that did it. And I've said all along, they draft well. Just if you're a Detroit Red Wing prospect, be prepared to play on the AHL for 15 years before coming to the NHL. What other points that I want to touch upon? Oh, okay. I know what I want to touch upon. 4 of the top defensemen, Evan Bouchard, Noah Dobson, Adam Boqvist, Quinn Hughes. Which ones were picked first? Quinn Hughes, Adam Boqvist, the Shrimps, the tiny ones. Bouchard and Dobson were picked later. I think this shows that the NHL wants to move to a more speed base, skilled base. We don't care about how big you are based type of league. And that's why we see Quinn Hughes being drafted that high. And let me tell you something about Quinn Hughes. He might not be as good as his brother Jack Hughes, who's projected to go first next year. That kid's a magician. You know, some things you see he does on the ice, I don't know how people move that way. He moves in ways that I don't comprehend. And I think he's going to be a very good pick for the Vancouver Canucks. He's a good player. And some say that his defense is lacking. Let me tell you one thing about being a defensive prospect. You can teach defense. Any player that comes up, you can teach them defense. It only depends on how much they want to learn. What you can't teach is what Quinn Hughes does on offense, is what Adam Boqvist does on offense, what the Erik Karlssons of this world do, and now what the Rasmus Dahlins are going to do. You can't teach offense like that. You are born with that. It is a gift. It's like being a good singer. You know, you can't really practice being a good singer. You're born with the pipes. I try singing. I suck ass. That's like playing offense in hockey. But as I've said, and we'll say over and over again, if you're a fan of one of the teams and you didn't get a player you want, don't be pissed off. This isn't a sad event. This is a happy event. This is an optimistic event. Because you won't know if they're going to be good for another 5 to 10 years. So right now, all you can live with is the hope that these future young acne-filled teenagers are going to lead your team to victory. And I believe that every single one of these players will help their teams. Okay, maybe not every single one, but you know what I'm saying. So this is Mekamat signing off.